Charles in Enugu, thank you for that beautiful early morning part of this show, Signature Morning from Enugu. Charles, thank you. And here in Abuja, my name is Mwabos Njoku. Let me welcome you to the program. Before I begin this program, I'm going to ask my guest a question, but I have not introduced him yet. I'm going to ask him a very interesting question, but first, what are we talking about this morning? The House of Representatives has 39 bills before it, all of which I'm told have entered the second reading in an effort to amend the Constitution. In other words, members or their constituents or individuals are trying to sponsor amendments to the bill, 39 of them. Now, let me ask a question. If 39 amendments are going to be made in the Constitution, is it not as well to rewrite the Constitution? Let us know that the whole Constitution is being changed. But that's not the issue we're talking about this morning. We're looking at a particular proposal, and that proposal is a bill that is proposing to create a local government elections commission, just as you have the Independent National Electoral Commission, but a particular commission that will be charged with the responsibility of conducting local government elections. Nigeria is a federation made up of 3 tiers of government: the federal, the states, and the local governments. And these 3 tiers, though they are in one nation, are quasi-independent. So, how can we centralize, create a body centrally, funded centrally, to conduct local government elections? That's the topic we're examining this morning. My guest is Otitoju Oladapo, PhD, a lawyer, public interest defender, and the man who is very interested in legislative process and the Constitution. Dapo, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good morning, sir.
Let me ask you a question before we get into this topic, please. Does Nigeria have a president? The Federal Republic of Nigeria, does it have a president?
Yeah, we have a president.
Have a president. Where does a president preside?
In Nigeria.
In his country?
In his own country.
Suppose the president elects to preside in the diaspora. Would you call him the president of that country?
It is. There are diasporals, Nigerian in diaspora.
Okay, he is the president of Nigerians in diaspora. That's why he goes to the diaspora.
Well, his absence from Nigeria does not take away the fact that we still have some people. I mean, a representative, which is the VP, who will be the acting president when he's not available. I don't know whether he transmits.
But by this morning, I got to know that president is going to be away for 14 days.
Yes, I think.
And he's headed back to Paris.
Yes, I heard that Showere was saying that a lot of things we don't know, that it is the presidency staffs that actually misleads Nigeria. When the president leaves for 14 days, is it part of his leave or is for medical leave?
Well, let me ask you, who is Nigeria's president? Is it Macron, who is in Paris, or is it Tinubu, who ought to be in Asorok?
It's Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu that is the president of Nigeria.
You're a lawyer, you need to convince me.
No, I'm telling you, that is the Alhaji Ahmed Bola Tinubu is our own president. And there's nothing stopping him from traveling.
Please, can you count on your fingers how many times our president has been presiding from Paris since he came to power?
No, I will not say he's presiding for Paris.
Okay.
I will not say
he went on honeymoon?
He went on holiday. A president is entitled to holidays. He can go for holidays, he can go for medical checkup, and I think this is the first quarter of the year. Maybe he go.
Okay, he needs to go
and check himself up. Nigerian problem is too much.
That is
for the man to continue to wait.
Anyway, that's not the issue we are discussing this morning. We are looking at amendments to the Constitution and the proposal being made to create a commission, a local government elections commission for Nigeria.
Yes.
But let us look at the federal structure.
Yes.
Nigeria is a federation.
Of course.
The federal, the states, and the local governments.
Yes.
The Supreme Court has just frowned at the tendency to muscle the local governments and liberated the local government. Say, look, you are independent. Therefore, have your own financial independence.
Yes.
Now, the House of Representatives is proposing to create a commission that will conduct elections for local governments in a federal structure.
Yes.
Is that not a vote of no confidence in that tier of government, or even the superintendent state governments that ought ordinarily conduct elections there? That's a clear pass of a vote of no confidence.
Well, I have a divergent view of this system. Why is that? Over the years, we have had local governments, election being conducted by state, the governors having their own people, being put in place as chairman, as councillors. It is it is something that worries me most times, because if you see a PDP governor, it will ensure that all the local government have PDP chairman and councillors. So where is the democracy here? If you have an AD, for instance, governor, you will see that all the chairmen and councillors are AD. If you have APC, the same thing. So where is the democracy? Other parties are completely muscled out,
emasculated
from the democratic principles. And if you buy or if you come out, you're wasting your time
and your money.
Because there's no democratic principles being practiced in the election of local government. The governors practically write down the names of those who they wanted from their own party. And that way, you are not developing politics. Democracy is not being developed, because now what will be in the psyche of the generation coming by is that, oh, it is written now, people I want, people that will not go against my interests, people that will not go against my decisions. And that is the problem we have in this our own system. Nigerian peculiarity is different from other countries of the world. I used to say this: if you are practicing federalism, true federalism, if we are practicing true federalism in Nigeria, it means that, for instance, in my state, it means that I will have my Supreme Court, I have my Court of Appeal, I have my High Court for the judiciary. And what it means again is that the local government will be the one, state will be the one to do all local government election, and it will be free and fair. It will be democratically placed. Not when somebody is penciling down somebody's name. When you write down somebody's name and you give it to the chairman of the State Electoral Commission, you have just appointed. That's appointment. And then you vote money for election. Then what have you just done? You have corrupted the system. You have stolen money from the treasury for a program, an election that never held. And then you have also prevented the people from electing their own leaders. Because by putting those people you have nominated, you have prevailed over democratic process, which of course needed to have been actualized by the people. Then where is the democracy? Then where is the grassroots participation? And that's the problem. So I think if we have a centralized system where we have, like, the president the election of the president, the election of the governor, the election of chairman be conducted the same day. Is it not just to do the election the same day, announce it? They enjoy the same 4-year terms by virtue of the decision of Supreme Court. They enjoy it. So when you do that election that day, the same time, we have had it in the past in Nigeria, where we conduct chairman election, governor the same time, and president. We have done it. IPP did it, even though he didn't hand over. He did it. So I think we have to get back to that system. We may not have to have a commission. Is to tell the one we had before to include local government. Election. I don't know why we like to duplicate things. We have an independent body. What the independent body will need to do is to just incorporate local government
activity
and then do election. There is no, I mean, it's not. There's no special bill that needed to be passed for local government. Local government is part of our constitution. And the Supreme Court has validated the presence of local government as the third tier of government.
As the third
tier. So if it's a third tier,
quasi-independent.
If it is a third tier government,
it should run
itself. And then election should be subjected to one body, which is the Independent National Electoral Commission.
Okay, I want to interrogate that one body matter. Yes. Who will be funding this local government commission? The commission to conduct election, who will be funding it? The federal government?
Of course.
In other words,
yes,
in a federal structure, just a few weeks ago,
yes,
I raised the matter of Tinubu creating a fourth tier government. And let me tell my line of reasoning.
Okay.
The president has signed the bill for 6 development commissions. Those commissions are to advance development in those zones. Budgets from the center, can I repeat? Budgets from the federal purse will be used to service that bureaucracy.
Yes.
That is supposed to help increase development in those zones. What are the states doing? And what are the local governments doing? They're also for development. In other words, the president by law has created another tier of development at the zonal level. Can I now see the 4 tiers of government? Federal, zone, state, local government. That was what I said. And I said, are we creating a new meaning to federalism? When the federal government be funding the institution that will run virtually everything, what is the difference between it and the military centralized government? Let us come here now.
Yes.
Who is going to fund this commission?
It's the federal government.
Federal government.
Yeah.
You know, centralized funding again. Why are we quarreling with military rule?
Well, military rule is an aberration.
Yeah, but we're institutionalizing the aberration.
Yes. The thing is this. Like I said before, true federalism is not being practiced in Nigeria. True federalism. Now, whether we are practicing democracy now is another question. I'm telling you, sir, whether Nigeria is practicing democracy, to me, this is a quasi-democracy. And that is what I say to people. Democracy is, by definition, the popular definition, is by the people, for the people. And then now, this one is by few people, for the leaders, and to the people. It is the people, they are pushing it.
We are the recipients of whatever they give us.
Of course. Because when you say democracy, everybody must be involved. Now, let me shock you, sir. We say we want to do primary election. You say you have delegates to go and vote somebody that will vote. Me, that will be my president. At my level, sir, in Nigeria, I'm also a stakeholder in the Nigerian project. I have contributed my quota, I'm still contributing. Now, somebody who does not know his right or wrong will be drifted from all over Nigeria to come and decide who my president is. He has a primary election because he's a member of a political party. And then they package money to give to them. And then they decide whether to pick whoever give them more or whoever they direct. That I have condemned many times, because they cannot. Primary election should not be subjected to delegates election. Primary election, as far as I'm concerned,
from all the political parties, should be all membership.
All membership. Apart from that, sir, if you say you want to do electoral college, we have what we call pressure groups. People from all the pressure groups, from all walks of life, from the association, MBA, NUJ, NUT,
market women,
put all of them together. Exactly. Let us have electoral college in this manner to set up primary election, so that whoever is the representative from this
is truly representative and it's gotten the mandate of the people.
Exactly.
And then, I'm still insisting. Yes. Is it the federal government that will fund this money? Fund this?
No, I'm coming there, sir.
Yes.
I'm coming there. Now, why am I saying all this? I'm saying this because you ask a question: do we have a president? And is this a democracy? And that is the reason I'm saying this. We do not need to practice a system that does not protect the people's interest. Now, back to your question. My first point of call, when I heard that they have created Northern Central Development, whatever, I say every administration wants to have a footprint. Niger, the NDDC. From NDDC, everyone says, if you have NDDC, you must have our own, not east, whatever.
Even electricity.
To begin to develop. These are, organizations.
Offshoots of politics.
These are organizations to siphon money from the system. In the last 10 years, what has been the the success story of NDDC?
The development impact, what has it
been? We have seen scandals in the past where money is voted for, these were taken, stolen by people.
Including Honorable Minister.
Of course.
Off your phone.
Off your mic. It is in this country. So we have seen that this development that there is just to siphon money and to help some few people. And to me, we don't need all these agencies. We don't need all this. You are trying to segregate a system. You are trying to destroy our unity. You are trying to create problems. And that is the problem of Nigeria. When you do here, you must do here. When you do here, why should we have segregations? Because money is coming from NDDC, we must vote money there. And because there was
give us our own share.
Exactly. Because there is a problem in in Niger Delta as a result of people's agitation, and people died. Because of that, we must rebuild them. We must give them scholarship. We must do this because their states are ravaged, their lands are. Then the northern elites rose up. Boko Haram has ravaged us in the northeast. This is give us an. I mean, these are agitations.
Give us amnesty too.
I'm telling you, these are agitations that will continue to eat up our own pause. I have never benefited from federal government. Never in my life. I have given to federal government. Because I went to school, I paid federal government. And I went to serve Nigeria. And they gave me what? Stipend. When I was serving in Maiduguri. How much do I know? We're being paid maybe, was it 4 or 5? Many years ago. And these are problems at the end of the day that when you come back to sit down, you will discover that you are not strengthening democracy. You provided NDDC and you appointed somebody there as chairman. You appointed MD. What are their roles constitutionally? They say they are not in our constitution. They are not in our constitution. Where is North-East Development
South-East Development Commission?
Where is it found in our constitution? They are not constitutional agencies, as far as I'm concerned. They don't have a role. They don't have a role.
Now let's come back to this Electoral Commission. I'm raising the matter of who is funding it.
Yes.
But you just said something as if to justify such a commission.
Yes.
And that is the failure of the state electoral commission.
Of course.
Governors, I must apologize. I must apologize to my viewers from Imo State. But let me give an example.
Okay.
The last local government election in Imo State.
Yes.
The governor is said to have come to Abuja, sat down with some of his political friends, written down the names of all the local governments, and said, who should be the chairman? They wrote down. Who should be the councillors? They wrote down. After compiling the list in Abuja, he flew back to Owerri and handed the list to the chairman of the State Electoral Commission. And where did the media come in? The chairman of the Electoral Commission was not even smart enough to say election into Olu local, I'm just saying Olu local government, election into Mbisi local government, whatever local government, APC scored X, PDP scored Y, Labour scored Z, whatever it was. The man wasn't that smart. All he came out to say, announce, Abon Mbisi local government area, Mr. X won the election. Mr. B won councillorship. And people ask the question.
I'm not surprised.
Where
are the others?
In which election? Where
are the others?
What were the scores? I have carried, that is, you use that to justify. But please, Dapo, listen to me. Can you become perfect, really, when you don't practice? They say practice
makes perfect. Yes.
If we now are proposing a centralized electoral commission for conduct of local governments,
yes,
are we not shutting down the process of practice that could make the state election commissions improve on what they are doing?
You have practiced for almost over 20 years, and instead of you getting the perfection you talked about, you are getting worse. Because in those days when they started, they would still put APC, PDP, and they put their scores. In fact, in those days when they started this practice, you still see some political party win elections.
Yeah, other opposition parties.
Yes, within the state. You will see out of, maybe PDP may score 10, out of 21 local government, a PDP may score 15, 5 may be shared by other political parties. But these days, they shut down other political parties from coming out. And this is terrible. Is this a terrible situation that local government practice has been destroyed by the governors? I mean it. A lot of Nigerian governors have destroyed democratic principles in the local government. They have failed totally because they have seen local government as their personal box to carry to market. Somebody will say that we pushed the car when they were in need of us and they left us in dust. I haven't come to tell you, vote for me, vote for me. We will do this. The people push them and they left them in dust, in confusion, in despair, in hopelessness. And that is the same state we are in Nigeria today. 36 states, not excluding one. And I wonder, where are the elites? The elites that was talking of democracy in those days, where are they? They have suddenly shut down in their houses. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is one of those who think by the time he gets to position, he will amplify what we call principles of democracy. We see him declaring state of emergency in a state when there are no war. Declaring state of emergency, sacking democratically elected governor, suspending the House of Assembly members. Now, his warlord is ordering people to leave their houses. Members of House of Assembly to vacate premises. Just for 6 months, they ask you to take over something. You are asking people to vacate. Who do you want to bring there? You can see a lot of those things that we hear and read. They do not represent the persons we thought they are. Many years ago, these people They open Radio Kudura to fight military system. They open Radio Kudura to destroy the system of governance. Military government. Today, they are acting worse than a military government. Because a military government that we know did not ostracize local government. The military government emphasized local government and fed the local government properly. If you are in your local government many years ago, during the military regime,
you feel the
impact of the governance. When they release money, you know. And then there are programs, women, youth, the grassroots targeted at the local government. Where are they today? Everybody come to Abuja, chop and go. The political system in this country is slicing funds. Everybody come, take your shares and go. Governors smile home when they get to their state in their allocation, they convert it to dollar and put it in government house. That's why we don't have dollar in Nigeria. That's why dollar is increasing. They spend dollar. And you say that, I think we have laws that we shouldn't spend dollar in Nigeria. But you see this person, they call them VIP. The VIP can spend dollar in Nigerian economy. But if a non-VIP or an ordinary Nigerian spend dollar, you will pick him up and say you will prosecute him. You use him as a scapegoat. Why are we doing this? This is segregation. This is segregation. And this is the problem why everybody wants to have a development commission. Niger Delta Development, Northern Development Commission, Central, not Central. What is the problem? So, will I say that you people are praying that you have a lot of crisis in your regions so that you can
get your own commission,
development commission. That's what I say. And the government should not, the government should be careful. Do not allow this to play in their hands. To me, scrap all these commissions. We have ministers. Don't you have ministers to take care of this developmental project? You have minister on special duties. What has he been doing? In those days, Turaki under Goodluck. Now, if you have scrapped, I think there's no special duty in this.
There is.
If you have, then why?
That is the person to interface with the
development every 36 states.
Okay, Dapo. We are saying the state electoral commissions have failed. Yes. The governors have captured them.
Yes.
The governors have captured the local government system. In fact, the example I gave to you, as you said, is replicated everywhere.
36 states.
In other words, the state electoral commissions have been
compromised.
He
who pays the piper dictates the tune.
Please, I want to quote a minister. I want to quote the FCT minister.
Okay.
Please.
Okay.
He said, I bought the forms for all, both the governor, his deputy, and all the members of the State House of Assembly. That's what he said. He said, I made the governor. I made Fubara a governor. He did that. He made that governor, that gentleman a governor, through the national body called the Independent National Electoral Commission. He did not use the State Electoral Commission. In this country, on this program,
yes,
amongst lawyers and activists,
yes,
the Independent National Electoral Commission, the central body, have been queried again and again and again. It is in this country, sir, that elections were conducted by the Independent National Electoral Commission. Figures were uploaded the same day, the same hour, and by the technological competence of the Independent Electoral Commission, some figures were properly uploaded and figures showed.
Yes.
Other, the same machines, the same time, from the same locations, the system developed our own political word, a glitch. by the glitch of the central body, some figures got uploaded for the Senate, for the House of Representatives, for the governorship.
Yes.
But the same machines developed glitch to accept the presidential figures. Can I breathe down? That was from the national body.
Yes.
So if the national body is this suspect, are we also going to create a new body for us? Since the state electoral commissions have challenges, we create a new body, or we transfer the responsibility to the national body. If the national body develops problem, what do we do? Do we transfer its responsibilities to touts or to bishops and imams and popes? The point I'm trying to make, the Igbo have a saying, every Odala, the Yorubas call it Agbalomo, right? Every Agbalomo, every Odala has spots on his head. Why do you throw away one Agbalomo and retain the other? Why do you say condemn one Odala and accept the other one?
Well, with due respect to the minister of the FCT,
I'm quoting him, I didn't create
yes, you have quoted him rightly. A lot of us heard him. And that is not democracy. His statement is autocratic, is despotic. His statements as a legal practitioner, as a life bencher, to me is disappointing. There are certain things you don't say, even if you do. You have to be careful because you know that it will be used against you tomorrow. Now, there is no perfect election anywhere in the world. There's no perfect election anywhere in the world. But in Nigeria today, I can tell you we have an independent electoral body that even though they are not truly independent in some things, it is assumed that they are independent in their workings, especially for elections. They may not be independent financially because their money still comes through the president. And that is what I keep telling people. Anywhere I have opportunity to say, I say, what independent, how independent is Independent National Electoral Commission? My PhD thesis is on these areas. And I keep asking people, how independent is the Independent National Electoral Commission? When you depend on finance, are you dependent? Their money is drawn from
the executive.
They go and present budgets. They present budgets. If you say someone is independent, they should draw from consolidated fund directly.
First line
charge. The way CBN is chopping money for themselves. CBN don't have budget. Do they present budget in National Assembly? Recently, a member said they should be coming to this place and be presenting budget. But have they done that? First line charge should be a priority for INEC. Today, INEC will still run back. So you can see that the word independence is relative. It is subjective. Independent where? Maybe is it in the process of election? Now, I told you initially that there is no perfect election. So, for Nigeria, it's just about 20-something years now. And it's still better than that state. That's what I'm telling you, sir.
That in other words, that the national body
is better than the SEC. I'm telling you, sir. Because I have experienced the SEC in all ramifications. The state governor will insist on who will become the chairman of this local government. And he will also insist on who becomes councillors. And then further insist on who becomes the chairman of the SEC. So if you know that this man appoints you to do this, and you go there and announce a different, don't you think he will sack you immediately? And that is the problem. They are not independent. The states, it's not the states, the SEC in the state ISEC, Independent State Electoral, they are not independent. They are political appointees. Most of them have affiliation with the political party of the state governor. The governor party. The governing party. So what are you expecting? In fact, the one you said that the man just announced, it is the best way he could say that, look, this is what they gave me to announce. But the truth is this: if it is centralized, there's fairness, one way or the other. I don't know the man there in Bonu as an INEC. I don't know him. The man in Lagos, I don't know him. So if every chairman election is conducted the same day with the governor and all the executives, governors, president, chairman, they will determine who they want to vote. The people will determine. I'm telling you, and that is still the best for a nation. As we progress, we do some things. But to start this, we have to go back to our drawing board. How can we fly from here?
Now, Dapo, you know that I raised the matter of practice and being perfect.
Yes.
I want to move a little further to now hold the lawyers, the media,
yes,
the activists,
yes,
the elite, squarely responsible for what is happening to Nigeria's federalism now, with respect to this proposal being put forward in the House of Representatives. Each time we're interrogating the success or failure of elections in Nigeria, we concentrate so much on the national body, the Independent National Electoral Commission.
Yes.
There are international organizations that come, they want to monitor the election, observers. The media will come together and criticize or critique the election. The lawyers will go to court and fault. Activists will get to see flaws, and they make recommendations. Just last week in a conversation, I asked a colleague, when will we in the media begin to ask, where are the budgets of the local governments?
Yes.
We never do.
Yes.
We never do.
Because there is no budget.
Now, what are the budgets of the state governments? What is the performance level? We never do.
Yes.
But we task ourselves with the duty of scrutinizing, we fine-comb the budget of the federal government, is performance and non-performance, who has eaten what money, who has misspent what money, regularly. Whereas we leave the states and local governments ensconced in a corner and doing their thing.
Exactly.
Now, the point I'm making now is, why is it that we do not focus the same way on state electoral commission? Because with constant critiquing and conversation and interrogation, some of them will begin to stand and say, Mr. Governor, I will carry the can at the end of the day. The media, the activists with lawyers will tell me to stress, and my reputation will go to the dogs. One or two. And progressively, you as a lawyer, the NBA, all of you lawyers who know the law, to what extent do you engage with the failures and shortcomings of the state electoral commissions?
Well, it's something that we engage every time. We have said it several times. We talked about it several times. How? When you have an election, and before you have that election, the governor already had told you what to do. You already agreed to that position. I mean, there are several times we have come to say, oh, there has been no election in this local government. I mean, for local government. We have come on air to say it several times. They have never, in Kogi State, for instance, they have done elections. We have come out to denounce that the election was not conducted. What did they do? They didn't do anything. The governor is the chief executive of the state.
No, the governor is the commander-in-chief of the state.
Good. And he has appointed an independent state electoral officer, chairman, whom he trusted.
And who is beholden to him.
And he must return what he has given him. You cannot say anything. If he announces anything, the governor will say, okay, he annulled the election, or the election was inconclusive. We have had some reckless governors who don't care what the law is.
Now, I'm still going to put you on a little pressure. What will the lawyers and the courts and the law do
let me
to
shock
help the situation?
Let me shock you, sir. We have taken a case, local government election, from High Court to Court of Appeal. Court of Appeal declined jurisdiction, that he cannot entertain it. The matter, as I speak to you, is still in Supreme Court today, and Supreme Court refused to listen to it. They have refused to list it. For 5 years now, that matter is there, is dead already, because that tenure has gone. That's what I'm telling you, that we have a lot of problems. I personally did that case. And the High Court of that state, it was a pre-election matter. What happened? There was a primaries. There was some use, they said there's affirmative. I've never seen a primary election that's affirmative when there are dissenting people, views. There are different candidates. You say affirmative. Just like National Assembly, I say they affirm to third majority of assenting to emergency.
By the way, let me just give you information. I'm consulting with a professor of mathematics and acoustics. Who is helping me to find the formula for arriving at 2/3 by sound. They do the calculation for me, and the distance the sound will travel to cover 1/3.
1/3 or 2/3.
Very soon, when
maybe
I
you will bring it up. No problem. We'll be waiting for it. But whatever it is, sir, what I'm trying to say is that if you file a suit at the High Court, the High Court is within their territory. The judge at the High Court refused to do the needful. Court of Appeal declined jurisdiction, that this is a local government election. It does not have jurisdiction. A Court of Appeal.
In other words, the Court of Appeal has made that local government case to terminate at the High Court.
Exactly.
Is that
and this is
provided
not,
in the Constitution?
And that is not, this is a pre-election. A pre-election, before the election, we are challenging. It is not an election matter. I kept trying to let the court know that, look, a pre-election is before election. It is not an election matter. If it's an election matter, it terminates there at the High Court. After the tribunal, you go to the High Court, it terminates. But now, this is a matter that started from High Court of that state. And your lordship says, you don't have jurisdiction. That it terminates there, so that court makes that decision and finalize it. I said that cannot be the intent of our constitution. We went to Supreme Court. They boxed it till today. So when you say what did lawyers have been, a lot of our cases are there. It's just that it is when you succeed that some of it comes to the public. The ones that did not succeed dies like that. There are a lot of agitations. We want a good system. A good system, including a good judicial system. Democracy must always strive when we have good judicial system, when we have good legislative system, and then we have executive. 3 tiers of government working hand in hand, not pecking themselves like we have now. In the National Assembly, they hardly say no to Mr. President.
They hardly.
So if Mr. President wants third time, it's easy. I'm telling you. Because they are pecking. They are not doing check and balances that the law gives them. Otherwise, how will emergency rule survive National Assembly? This undemocratic principle injected in a democratic society, and then the National Assembly will sanction that emergency rule. That gazette should be brought down. I'm waiting to go to court to bring down that gazette. Any law, the Constitution, Section 1 says that there shall be no part of Nigeria being taken over by undemocratic means. Port Harcourt has been taken by undemocratic means.
Okay, let us still come back to this, pardon my language, to this strange commission that is being proposed at the House of Representatives.
Yes.
Now, the reason as this conversation has thrown up is because of the failures of the state independent electoral commissions.
Yes.
In other words, the House of Representatives is trying to sincerely find an answer to what is a debilitating challenge.
Exactly.
Undermining democratic process and democratic outcomes.
Exactly.
But wait, there is a legislature, or there are legislatures in the states.
Yes.
Who also ought to be oversighting some of these agencies and institutions and checking whether they are acting within the law and the intent of the act establishing them. Credible elections that are people driven, governed by the mandate of the people, instead of announcements of portfolio owners by a governor. Do you think that the state legislatures have helped matters in giving real independence to the state electoral commissions?
Well, you see, the state House of Assembly members are not also immune from the captain style of governors. What I mean by that?
They are already a captured people.
Exactly. They are captured in the sense that how many state assembly today now goes against
whatever the governor wants.
Interest of a governor. In fact, if you check the state assembly, you will see that majority are from the government party, where the governors.
And so always the eyes will always have it.
Exactly. So it is very difficult to go against the interest of a governor. If you are going to go against the interest of a governor in any state today, the way it is set up now, then you'll be suspended. Yaya Bello suspended some people when he was in Kogi, a governor in Kogi. He suspended a member of the House of Assembly. He said they went for whatever anti-party or put them under terrorism stopped. It was so funny that a governor suspended people, member of House of Assembly, legislature, elected by his people to represent him. He forwarded that letter to the speaker, and that speaker that time had the temerity to read that kind of letter and suspend a member. That he is also a member, you are also a co-member, a colleague in the assembly. That speaker at that time was also kissing the governor. So no matter what the governor says, he must listen. You see, that's why I'm saying that the integrity of this legislature must be intact. All this mediocrity that we found in the assembly is as a result of incompetence. Election should go out for integrity. People, you want a political party to jostle a person or a candidate. That candidate must be credible. And how do you find a credible candidate in a political party? You will know. It is not because he has money. Check his antecedents. Check his antecedents. Where is he coming from? What has he done? What
does he stand for?
People don't investigate candidatures anymore. Gone are the days when a candidate will be subjected to scrutiny, even by INEC. They will look at, have you conducted yourself in an improper way? Have you embezzled before? Have you held any office that they have this? They will go as far as this. But we have brought all kind of candidates. Unverifiable candidates.
I'm a little bit upset.
Yes.
Because let me tell you why I'm upset. From the political parties,
yes,
things are not going well.
Yes.
There's no democracy in Nigeria's political party.
Of course, I agree with you. I agree.
Now, from the outcome of this conversation, in the state legislatures, these are captured
by governors.
People.
Yes.
In the State Electoral Commission, it is a captured institution.
Of course. Of course.
So where lies the hope of Nigerian democracy?
Well, I don't want to sound prophetic, but honestly, we have not started the journey. The journey is very far, and I will defend it this way. You have been, since 1999, you have practiced democracy, quasi-democracy. In the midst of everything, in any of this, from Obasanjo to Tinubu now, during Obasanjo, he declared state of emergency in 2 states, bringing in the military powers. Because when you declare state of emergency and you remove a governor, that time he only removed governor, he didn't even remove assembly members.
In Plateau, he attempted to do it to the court.
So that way, during Goodluck time, Goodluck declared state of emergency in Borno, Yobe, and part of Niger, maintained
all the democratic structures.
It shows democracy. It shows democracy. Tinubu was one of those who shouted, this will undermine the forthcoming election. This is it. The same Tinubu declares state of emergency
and
today.
Sacks everybody.
Sack democratically elected agencies.
Institutions.
And I wonder how terrible can this be?
How comfortable he will feel.
Now let me say this with all sense of responsibilities. When you invite an undemocratic means to a state that the people have already elected their representatives and governors, whether it is to us, Rivers State have governor and members of House of Assembly. If they are having conflict, the court is the final place. And if the court decides to do otherwise, that is final, of all finality. Now, you brought in a man who was not democratically elected, who was nominated by you, a man who has military sense and military training, to come and take the affairs of a state for 6 months. You now release the money that you could not give to a democratically elected governor, because the House of Assembly are not there, because their representatives are not given the opportunity to know how they are going to spend it. You now release it to a man who does not have democratic sense to query him. Is that not a mockery of our judicial system? A mockery of the judgments
of the Supreme Court?
A mockery of the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria? And that president is still there. No impeachable offense has been served on him. And you say we are in a democracy. We are not in a democracy. At every error of president, at any error or every error that you allow to rest without questioning, you destroy democracy. Any error committed by any executive, be a governor or a president, and you did not serve him impeachment notice to see the error as a legislator, you have failed the nation, you have failed the country, and you have brought down democracy. The purpose of serving impeachment notice to every governor, to the president, is to let him know his error in the Constitution. This impeachment may not succeed, but let him see it. That look,
you are going offline.
You are going offline. This is it. This is it. They serve it on the governor of Rivers, but they didn't allow the flow to go. Maybe he will have succeeded. Maybe they will have succeeded. But I am saying this with all sense of responsibility, that if a democracy in Nigeria must survive, everybody must know his fault and error. And the error must be pointed out. Impeachable offenses. Doing this, removing the governor of Rivers State, a democratically elected governor, suspending the House of Assembly.
Well,
these are issues.
These are, we have then come to another captured institution.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. We'll be looking at these captures again and again. And I said to you that there are 39 bills before the House of Representatives. We'll be interrogating a number of them from now till maybe next week. Because unless we do, engaging the members of the House of Assembly or House of Representatives who are watching now would also listen to the reasoning. They're not all knowing. Not all knowing at all. It is by these conversations and interrogations that maybe they'll look at their reasoning again. And also the players in the various institutions will begin to know that they are the causes of these things. If the state electoral commissions had worked within the rules and performed as expected, there would have been no need now for the House of Representatives to raise another commission to conduct elections at the lowest level. And that causing all this morning to query the federalism, whether it is working well or not. In the past 55 minutes, my producer says close to 1 hour, I've been conversing with Otitoji Oladapo, PhD. He's a lawyer, and we have been engaged in looking at one of the bills being proposed by the House of Representatives to establish another electoral commission purely for the conduct of local governments. There are many reasons for it, but the question I asked him is, does practice not make perfect? Do we need to throw away the baby and the bathwater? But he says there's always a cause and an effect, isn't it?
That's true.
Let's see, as we progress, we'll be looking at other bills. For now, let us thank Dapo. Dapo, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Tomorrow, we'll still engage with another lawyer, another bill, and on Monday, let me tell you, we'll be looking at developments in the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, the exit of Melikiari, and dissolution of the board, and the appointment of a new board and a new helmsman. Has anything changed? That will be on Monday. But tomorrow, keep looking at these bills before the House of Representatives. For this morning, let me thank you for investing your time with us. My name is Mwabo Zinjoko. Let's go and mind some other business while you also enjoy the rest of the day. Good morning.